Welcome to another episode of Dad Can We Talk? I'm your host, Anthony Ray. And today, this is episode 51, if I'm not mistaken, man. I'm at episode 51. And man, y'all listen. I know y'all been seeing me post on Facebook and on Instagram about this live event that I had on Friday. I am so sorry because I'm not sure how the audio came out on that. There was a lot of noise. The audio didn't come out too well. But man, if y'all were there, listen, that live event was serious. You just had to be there to experience it. It was a real vibe, man. So I just want to give a shout out to my man Corey Thomas with Tri-City. Well, not Tri-City, but Tri-County. And man, I just want to tell you that I appreciate you for giving me the opportunity to have that space at the event on this past Friday, man. It was everything, man. I got a few numbers, man. I got a few guys that I will be bringing on the podcast for sure. So yeah, y'all be looking out, man. I got, like I always say, so many great dads out here, man. And I'm just constantly meeting new dads all the time that just have real deal stories that I believe can impact lives, man. So shout out to all them brothers that I met on Friday night, man. Y'all boys were real. Like, that was some real talk. I might still put the audio out from the event. It's not the best quality audio. It was a lot going on, but you can still kind of hear some of the conversations, man. I think I might just put it out, like, just a little special, a bonus type of episode, man. So, because I do want you guys to be able to hear some of the things that was talked about. It was serious, man. It was serious. And I just want to give another shout out to my man T. Whitey. We ain't at the studio today for those that might see this on YouTube, man. I ain't posted up at 6 o'clock studios today. I'm out here in Newberry, Florida at my brother-in-law house, man. So hey, listen, I live right down the street, man. We wasn't about to drive into Gainesville when we can just drive right down the street and meet each other, man. So yeah, we posted up out here in Newberry, Florida, at the Spells residence, man. So yeah, shout out to my boy T. Whitey at 6 o'clock studios. But without further ado, y'all know what time it is, man. Before we get started, go and subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, if that is the platform that you use for podcasts. And if you do listen there, please leave a review. I love to understand and hear where I could be better, where I'm going wrong at. I need y'all help, man. I'm just trying to get my subscribers up, trying to be more visible. So if you really want to help the podcast, the best way to help us is to leave reviews, to subscribe, and that'll mess with the algorithms and help the podcast be a little more visible on those big platforms that's very saturated with a lot of podcasts. So yeah, now to the business at hand, man. Today I'm sitting, like I said, with my sister's husband, my brother-in-law. Man, I've known this man since we were in the second grade, man. We go way back to Metcalf Elementary. We go way back to Tree Trail Apartments, man. For those, some of y'all new people, man. Some of y'all young cats. Y'all don't know about Tree Trail because Tree Trail ain't Tree Trail no more. Tree Trail is now Chelsea Apartments. So if you was probably born anytime 2005, you might not know nothing about Tree Trail like that, man. But that's where we met at, man. Those were our stumping grounds where we met each other, man. And we used to always rollerblade around the neighborhood all the time, play basketball, man. That was my dog. We had classes together. So yeah, I think we went to middle school for a little while with each other, man. So we went to high school at GHS together for a little while. So yeah, man, we got a lot of history, man. We've known each other for a long time. And man, now out of nowhere, I was like, oh shoot, my dog is now my brother-in-law, you know. So yeah, man. So hey, friends turn brothers, you know. Even though I believe we was brothers even before then, man. Even before the marriage, man. I always looked at this brother as someone that I respected, you know, very respectable, man, you know, always genuine, you know, and I'm proud to call this brother my friend. You know, he's been a person that's just always been real with me, man. So without further ado, man, y'all welcome to the show. My man Patrick Spell was good.
Chilling, bro, chilling. Thank you for the opportunity for even allowing to come on the show, man. I think it's a big thing you're doing, and you know, I'm just proud of you, man. Thank you.
For sure, man. So y'all know how we do it on Dad Can We Talk. My first question is always the same because I like to take it back and understand some history. So I want you to talk about what was your relationship like with your dad. Man. I want you to talk about that whole dynamic.
Yeah, man. So my relationship with my dad is has been good, man. But my relationship's a little different. You know, my dad came into my life at when I was a little older. I was probably around 4 or 5 years old when my mom met my dad. But yeah, my relationship with my dad has been amazing, man. Before then, I grew up in a single parent household with just me and my mom. So things are a little different, you know.
Yeah, for sure, man. How would you say? Because like I said, I always say, out of all of my friends growing up, I can probably count on my hand, probably on both hands, might be one hand, but probably on both hands, how many of my friends that I remember having a dad that was like in their life. You, Ontario Smith, my boy Vince Brown, Ronnie dad was there. I remember KJ, his dad.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, I don't remember too many of, my friends that actually, lived with their dad in the home with them. And how would you say that having that dad in the home with you, how did that form you, and help you become the person that you are today?
Man, just being able to realize the good examples. My dad was a military man, so just the structure that he set for us, me and my brother, just to follow. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of things that a lot of other people went through in life. You know what I'm saying? I kind of missed that curve because I had like a father figure or a male structure in my life to help me kind of dodge certain areas that other brothers couldn't dodge because they didn't have that father dynamic in their life. My dad's just one of those straightforward country boys, man. Really just taught us, you know what I mean, how to go out there and get it for ourselves. What nobody else gonna do it for us. So he kind of just set us up to go out in life and just become our own men, and you know what I mean, just be great examples to other brothers who didn't come from the same background we did. So I feel like it helped me out a lot, and life at this point. My dad's been married to my mom for 27 years. So just seeing that, bro, just, you know what I'm saying, it just pushed me to, kind of follow the same footsteps.
That's real. And that's one thing that I always say about the importance of fatherhood. Having that example of a dad, I feel like when you have the opportunity to see it in the home, it changes your outlook on life. I think when you don't grow up like my mom, we had my brother's dad in the home for a little while, for a couple of years. And I just remember even just having him there, how much that impacted me. And I used to love him. My brother Emp's dad. I used to love him, bro. And it really, I believe that if he would have stayed around, because he really was a father figure, he would take us to go do things. And it was just for that little period. When I was younger, And then after that, I really didn't see my mom. I didn't really see too many men. I didn't see any men in my mom's house, period, until she got married. You know, once I got in the 9th grade. And it was like, even with that, her husband really wasn't, and you know, I ain't love that brother, man, but he was never really a father figure. Yeah, he was just a person that worked. You know, it was never like interactions, like it just wasn't that. I think it was a little too late by that time. Yeah. Too. And that was hard. So I think, you know, like what you're saying, like, you know, seeing your dad with your mom, and you know, I remember your dad, me, you and your dad going to the basketball court and hanging out. You know, so I can only imagine like having that person in the home where you see them, you know, actively, you know, worried about how you're doing in school. Yeah. You know, trying to help you understand where you're going career-wise, to help you understand, you know, what love is and what love looks like, what marriage looks like. All of those things are so important, man. And I just think a lot of people don't. I think fatherhood is, you know, people don't look at it as being this important thing. Most people, they're like, oh, well, if the dad is there, he's there, as long as they got mom. But it's like, nah, you need mom and dad.
But it's a double-edged sword for me though, because you know, like I said, my dad came into my life. You know, I wouldn't say kind of later, but I was I want to say I was around 4 or 5 years old at that point. So you know, I had the example from my dad being a great dad and having an example, but I also feel the same pain as some of the other brothers, because you know my father wasn't really in the picture for me. So although I had a dad, I still, you know, I still had that emptiness from not having my father in the picture, and then like those thoughts and those questions and those wonders, like, you know, why isn't he, you know, around? Why isn't he, you know what I'm saying, there? Like, what's going on with that? You know what I mean? Because a lot of people think like, you know what I'm saying, me having a dad made me very grateful because I did have that in my life, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like, just a struggle, just wondering what my father was, like, what he was doing, if I had any other brothers or sisters, like if my other family, my other dynamic, because you know my father and my mother are from the same city. So I would go back home and, you know what I mean, like I'd be walking around and wondering if I was passing by one of my cousins or like, you know what I mean, my aunt or something like that, which my aunt from my father's side just passed away probably a couple of months ago. And that really affected me because like I never got to have that one-on-one connection with the other side of the family. So
yeah, that's understandable. Yeah, that's real. So did you ever? So you've never even met him?
Yeah, so I met him. You know, the first time I really met my father that I can really recall meeting him was the summer between 4th and 5th grade. He lived in Las Vegas, Nevada. So my mom flew me out there to meet him, you know, and I stayed with him for the summer. So then I stayed out there for the summer, you know what I'm saying? I came back here, I did 5th grade here. And then I went back out there the summer between 5th and 6th grade. And I actually went to school in Las Vegas. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I went to school in Las Vegas for a little bit. I went to a middle school called Cannon Middle School for a little bit. And then that's the first time I ever picked up a football too. That's my first year ever playing sports too. So my first year playing sports was out in Nevada. So after that point, man, I want to say I was like 11, 12 maybe. I didn't see my father since I was 12 years old.
Damn.
Yeah.
So we 32 in 20 years.
I'm about to turn 33 in like a couple of months, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I ain't seen him since I was 12. And he's since been remarried. You know, we in contact now a little bit, but it's still tough at times, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Have you ever had that conversation with him? Like,
yeah, we actually, crazy story. When my aunt Stella passed away, his sister, we kind of had a little conversation about, you know, I guess because I never wanted to have the conversation, you know, because I had a dad, so I felt like I didn't want to be disrespectful to the man who stepped up and raised me, you know what I'm saying, by entertaining my father. But I felt like after becoming a father, I just needed to know, like, those simple, what seems so hard sometimes can be so simple. And to sit down and have that conversation about, like, where he was, like, what was going on, why wasn't he? And we chopped it up for a little bit, man. He, some of the information and some of the things that I needed to hear, kind of closed the gap a little more than what it was. And, just trying to extend the opportunity for him, although, like, I feel like he missed out on my life. But now that I have a daughter, you know what I'm saying, I want him to be able to have the opportunity to be into his granddaughter's life, and kind of, make up for that time. I don't want my daughter to look at me like I was hiding family from her. So I just want her to know that, you know what I mean, that I extended the opportunity. If he chooses not to take it, then, you know what I'm saying, that's on him. But me being a dad, I want her to know that, like, you know what I'm saying, you do have family, you do have other people out there, you know what I'm saying, that you might want to meet, or so on and so forth.
Yeah, no, that's real, man. That's so real. And like I say, man, I always learn so much, bro. It's like, I never knew any of that.
Yeah. And
it's like, man, that's a powerful thing, man. To be able to, like I say, somebody told me one time that I was wrong for trying to mend the relationship, like me taking the step to do that with my dad. And I was just like, I mean, how you gonna say that? Like, it was like, well, that should not be a child's job. I'm like, you just can't say that, though.
It is. You always hear the saying, somebody has to be the bigger man. Mm-hmm. Sometimes kids are going to be the bigger person in the situation when it comes to adults, because, sometimes adults, whatever the reason is, they feel like they can't make that step. But, especially for young men out here today, sometimes when you become a father, you have to close those steps. You have to close those gaps, because like for me, like you said, I haven't seen him since I was 12 years old. And, periodically through that time, like, I'll get a call or, whatever every now and then, but I really didn't have a relationship with him. So that hurt me. And like I said, having a dad, it was great. Like, having a dad that was there for me to show me things, like, I loved it, but I still had that void that was missing. Like, a part of me felt like it was still, not there. So, just being courageous enough just to step up. And it's not just for me, you know what I'm saying, because it's not about me anymore.
That's real.
So, just giving that opportunity to my child, that way she knows, her grandfather, and, if they go on and they have an amazing relationship, that's great, you know what I'm saying, that's good, but yeah, it's not about us no more, man. When you start to have kids, like, that relationship with your father and that stuff, like, man, it goes beyond that. Like, a part of you being a good father is introducing these people to your kids, that way they can have a relationship with them, instead of bashing them and talking bad about them and, giving them all these stories, you know what I'm saying? Let these kids meet them for themselves, and then your child form their own mental picture or, reality about what's really going on. So I think that was just a big thing for me, just, mending that gap, just trying to, self-health, you know what I mean? Self-health. So
that's real. Yeah. That's real, man. That's so important. And that's good news, man. I love hearing stuff like that, because I just know the importance of it. People would have said that, would have never thought that my own dad would mend the relationship with his kids, just knowing where he was and what he was doing. And it's like, to see where we are now in 2021, it ain't the most perfect thing in the world whatsoever. But at least we're making some sort of progress. And it's like, for years, it's like, that's all I wanted. For at least to be able to be like, man, let me call my partner. At least have your phone number, bro.
Yeah, for real.
That's everything. And it's like, and it was so weird, because the person that had told me that I shouldn't do that was I posted a video on YouTube or something. Yeah. and somebody was in the comments saying, "Oh, you shouldn't do that." And I'm like, huh?
Nah,
I ain't get it, man.
Part of us being men, you know what I'm saying? And like with our situation, it's different because like most of the men you talk to, when you talk to their dad, when you talk about your dad, you know, a lot of them can't relate, but you know, your father is also my father-in-law, and he's also the grandfather to my daughter. So you know what I'm saying? That situation is just crazy.
Crazy. I wanted to ask you about that. Like, now this is something that I've noticed within my marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So my wife didn't grow up with her dad either.
Mm-hmm.
I think she said she's seen her dad twice in her life.
Mm-hmm.
She's 30 years old. So she saw him 2 times in her life. And a few years ago when I was like, you know, making things right with my dad, I was like, you know, kind of like asking her, like, what's up with your pop? She was like, oh, I don't know. Like, we gonna figure out? Like,
yeah.
And she was like, oh, where he be? And I was like, I don't think I think you should give him at least a chance. Because what's crazy is, I think her second time seeing him was when they ended up having to go back to Chicago for that little moment. While they were there, she seen her dad, and she was like, it was like the most awkward thing, you know, like, she was like, he came over to her granny house, and it was like, she said that when she seen him, she just went in the room, because she was like, she didn't know what to say, like,
there's pain there. It's a lot of pain, especially for girls, you know, for young men, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it hits a little different for us. Like, we need our fathers and we need dads to, you know, help us, you know, kind of shape us, you know what I mean, into men, which, you know, a lot of young men, they don't have that, so they kind of got to get it from somewhere. But for girls, like, I feel like when young women don't have their fathers, bro, like, they go looking for it in somebody. Like, they go looking for it in relationships. They go looking for it in just, you know, a male figure just to be there and try to help them. So for girls, man, I think it's 10 times harder, you know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
For them to kind of mend the gap without having a father than it is for us men sometimes.
That's right. And my question for that was gonna be, have you ever seen that kind of rear its head in y'all relationship? Because at one time I had to tell my wife this, like, I had to tell her, you know, for a while I felt like I had to be her husband and her dad. You know, it was like, I felt like she was looking at me in that way. It's like, at the end of the day, I'm not your dad. I can't fill that void. Yeah. I just can't. You know, and I just wanted to know, just knowing, you know, sis got the same situation as me. It's like, I wonder if that's something that y'all ever had to deal with.
Yeah. It's definitely have had to deal with. Well, yeah, we both have definitely had to deal with that. You know, she grew up in a fatherless environment, and you know, she had her uncle that kind of stepped in and played that role for her, but she still grew up in a fatherless environment. So, you know, when we got together and we started dating, there was times where, you know, she was broken from that, from not having that. So a lot of the times, you know, I did play the role of the boyfriend, the husband, you know, and trying to be that dynamic male figure in her life. That way she didn't feel like she was missing something. But, you know, being a husband, being a boyfriend, you know, we can't fill that void. Like, that's not a void that we can fill. And although, you know, we try, that's just something that we can't fill. You know what I'm saying? You can't mend that hurt for them. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, that's because you're not the father.
Straight up.
So, yeah, I feel like a lot of men deal with that. Yeah, that was definitely something that we had to, and we, you know, we still deal with it today. Although, you know, like, you know what I'm saying, y'all situation is getting a little different because now y'all have contact with, you know, your father, but it's still times where, you know, she still hurts from that, and I gotta kind of try to play both roles. You know what I mean?
That's real. Yeah, man. I would say that's probably been one of the biggest challenges, I would say, when it came to marriage. It's been just trying to fill that void. Also while dealing with my own, I got the same issues, man. But
and a lot of people don't understand, man. Like, shout out to all the, no disrespect to any other young men out there, but shout out to all the young brothers that are married, bro. Because like,
it's real.
Especially when you're married to a woman that doesn't have a relationship with her father, man, that's tough, man. Yeah, that's real tough. So shout out to all the young brothers that are married out there, because y'all know the experience. It's tough because you gotta build that trust. When their father aren't around, that trust, that wall. You gotta try to break through that wall, but then you gotta bring that trust characteristic in there for the women to be able to trust you and be able to, allow you to play the role that you're supposed to play. You know what I mean? So shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to you.
And I like you hit on that trust, because it's like, I feel like they think, well, this man walked down on me. Will you, and it's just, I can only imagine how hard that is, man, from a woman's perspective. But then again, like you said too, it's so hard for us to try to be that. And one time I just had to tell my wife straight up, like, hey, listen, I'm not that. And I'm not even trying to be that. Like, I want to help you get that relationship with your dad so that he can do it. I can't continue to do that because I'm always gonna let you down.
And I'm gonna be broken. Like,
straight up.
I'm broken too. Because we're broken too as young men coming from a similar situation. So and then having kids, man, like you trying to be that male figure for your wife, for your kids,
man,
and for yourself when you don't like I said, my situation a little different because I had a dad. But like I was listening to Cody Hall's situation, and shout out to Cody, man.
Yeah, shout out to my big dog.
Bro, that's hard when you gotta be your own father figure. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get out here in the street and you gotta kind of learn from just the cats that's walking around, or just trying to learn from your own trials and tribulations. That's tough. That gets hard. You know what I mean? And like women, like it gets hard for men. You know what I'm saying? Because we trying to play that role, and it's hard to play a role when you never established or never had that role established in your life. It's like it's like reading a book full of plans where there's nothing on the pages. You kind of just gotta write it in as you go. So,
you don't know how the beginning, the end,
nothing. Like nothing. You just gotta try to, do the best you can. And a lot of young men feel like they're falling short, but you know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't falling short, man. Like, you just gotta hold your head up, keep faith, man, and keep walking, because there's no blueprint to it.
Straight up.
Just keep going. Just try to be the best dad, the best father you can be, because these kids need it. Even if it's not your kid, and I'm gonna touch base on that. Like, even if it's not your kid, because my dad stepped into a situation with us, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I look at my dad as my father. I'm gonna get that out of the way. So like, I look at my dad as my father because he stepped into a situation he have to step into to be that permanent role. And he never walked away. He never let us go a day without a meal. He never let us, you know what I'm saying? He used to walk us to elementary school. Yeah. He used to walk to work, walk me to school, make sure we were straight. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, so even
shout out to Pops, man.
Yeah, shout out to my dad, man. Even for y'all young brothers, man, like, we gotta father our own kids too, but sometimes we gotta reach out and we gotta be those father figures to those kids that don't have them either. You know what I mean? It take a community to raise kids, and I feel like we gotta get back to that mindset. We gotta get back to that. You know,
that's real.
A good example is that bro, my oldest brother-in-law, Ron Ray. I feel like he a prime example of being a father to kids who don't have fathers.
That's real. So
we need a lot of men out there like that, because those are the men who change lives for real.
That's real, man. So many kids out here that just really don't have that, Like, I always tell my kids, they young, but I be telling them straight up, like, man, everybody don't have what y'all have. Nah. Everybody don't wake up and they daddy in their face. Yeah. Everybody don't go to sleep and they daddy tucking them in. Like, y'all just gotta know that it's people out there that are so much less fortunate than y'all. Like, and y'all gotta always remember that. Don't always think everyone is in the same situation as you, because they're not.
Because you get into conversations like now, you know what I'm saying? Like, you realize, like, when we were younger, you know, we grew up in the same neighborhood. We hooping, you know, playing football, running around, playing tag, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? You don't have this conversation. You don't think about, like, oh, you know, if he going home, his dad gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? My dad is there. Like, you think everybody in the same boat, but then they're not. You feel what I'm saying? So, just learning that is crazy. And like I said, my situation's different than a lot of other people's, because, like, you know what I mean? We'll touch base on that. Let bro get through his questions. I'm pretty sure
that's real. No, that's real. That's real. I want to talk about this, man. Talk about what was your first thought when you first found out you were about to be a dad. You know, like, and what was how did everything go? Because I know that y'all had some complications with having children for a while. I want you to talk about that, like the complications, and then finally finding out like you're about to be a dad.
Yeah, man. So it for a long time it was a sore subject, because, you know, we did, me and my wife, you know, shout out to my wife.
Shout out to Sid.
we had complications together. I'm not gonna touch base on what they are. But yeah, we were having complications, and crazy story. So like we were trying to have kids, and it wasn't kind of working. So I was starting to have that doubt, like, man, I'll never get the opportunity to be that father that, you know what I'm saying, that, like, I to be 100% real, I wanted to be a father just so I could show my father how it was done. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't get it from him, so I wanted to be a father to show him, like, this is how you do it. Like, I wanted to get back at him so bad, like, man, this is how you be a father. This is how you know what I'm saying? And like, for so long, man, like, we couldn't get pregnant, and then, you know, finally, you know, we stopped trying to have kids, and we actually went to a church service one year, man, and for like New Year's, they had you light a candle, and you had to make one prayer on that candle, and then once you said the prayer, you blow the candle out. And me and my wife had the same prayer, and we never even talked about it. Like, we had the exact same prayer, and literally the next year we found out that Kaylani was coming into the world. So you know, finding out that I was gonna be a father was I kind of broke down by myself. My wife, she don't know this year. When she watched it, she gonna be like, what? Like, and I was at work one day, and I just broke down in the stall. I just started crying, because, like, I didn't know how, like, I was nervous. I didn't know how I was gonna be a father, like, how I was gonna direct, you know, her in the right direction. Like, I at that time, I felt like I wasn't even a good husband yet. So, like, now, like, this child is coming into the world, and I was having doubts about even being a good husband. So, like, I was real nervous, man. I constantly broke down, because, like, I was just scared that of maybe failing, or maybe, you know, not being that good example for my daughter. You know, it was tough for me. It was tough.
Yeah, man, that's a scare. It could be. It's you be happy and you're excited, but like you said, man, you can have those doubts, man. That stuff will eat you alive, man. If you allow it to.
Because everybody was around, you know. Everybody around me had kids. So, like, all my homeboys, you know, my brother-in-law, even my younger brother, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I was already an uncle. And everybody had kids. You know, when you married and you don't have kids, like, the question that comes, like, when are you gonna have children? When you gonna have children? Like, it was tough, man. But when I finally found out, I really think it set in. I had prayed for a girl first. I don't know if most men do that, but, like, as a man, I prayed for a girl first, because I wanted to have that father-daughter relationship with my daughter, and I always wanted to have a daughter first. I wanted her to be the oldest, because you know, you just have a dynamic with your oldest child, because it's the first one. Like, it's just something different about that first one. So I prayed for a daughter, and that's what God blessed us with. You know, God blessed us with a daughter, and man, she's the love You know, my wife's the love of my life, but my daughter's the apple of my eye.
Yeah.
She's my world. So,
All right.
you know what I'm saying? We're blessed. We're blessed.
Yeah, boy, man. One thing about it, I was praying for a boy first. But when I got that girl, man, listen, man, the girl, they do something to you, man. It helps you. You have a greater appreciation for women after you have that girl. You know, it's just like, cause I have a son, and my son, it's a different thing with my son. You know, it's just it's a totally different dynamic. But those girls, bro, it just really help you. I think, like, I always wish for some dudes to have girls, especially when they be like all hard, want to be tough. And I'm like, boy, I hope you have a girl, boy. Yeah, but that thing gonna change your whole life. It's gonna change your whole mindset. You're all that tough and all. That stuff it's gonna go out the window.
You right. Cause you know, like I always tried to play the tough guy. You know what I'm saying? I always tried to be, you know, the one that wasn't emotionally stable. Like I wish my wife I wish she was here to talk to y'all and tell y'all, like, we watch a movie, I wasn't crying. I don't like hugging people. Like I wasn't like that. And you know, when my daughter was born, man, boy, I tell you what, like, I can't get through a movie now without crying. Like, I be watching basic movies and I just start tearing up. I don't even know why I'm getting emotional. You know, but yeah, having kids change your life, but being a dad and having a little girl. Like, I don't have a son yet, but I got a nephew and stuff. You know what I'm saying? The relationship is different, but having that girl, it just bring out emotions in you that you never even knew that was inside you.
All right. That's real, man. That is real, man. Shout out to my baby girl, Katie Lottie, and Miss Azriel Ray, and little Eliana. All them girls, man, them girls will do it to you, boy. They will do it to you. Man, I wanted to ask this, though. Damn, son, I was going to ask you about that. It'll come back to me. It just slipped my mind. But, like, now that you have a child, like, what would you say is your greatest challenge thus far? You know, what Carolina with 2?
Yeah, she's about to be 2 in a couple months. Yeah.
So, almost been a dad for 2 years. So, what's this far? What's been your greatest challenge of fatherhood so far?
Man, my greatest challenge of fatherhood so far has been patience.
Yeah.
Man, working on that word, patience, has been
Yes, it is.
Yeah, just being patient with her and just, she getting to that age now to where she want to do what she want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you trying to rear him into being, you know what I'm saying, you want him to be obedient, you know what I'm saying, and she want to do what she want to do. So having patience with just working with her and just trying to get her in that, in a situation where she knows right from wrong. We get to that point now where you're teaching them right from wrong. You starting to, pop the little bottom. You start to do something bad, it hurts. Like, if I gotta, pop a little bottom, it hurts me because I'm like, dang, I don't wanna be mean, But I say patience is one of my greatest challenge so far.
Yeah, man, trust me. Keep working on it, my brother.
Yeah.
Cause boy,
I heard it don't get easier.
Yeah, it don't get easier, bro. It's a constant thing, man. My oldest is 8. Like, even today, I was just thinking, right before I left the house just now, it was like, I asked her something. What did I ask her? I said, she was doing something, and then I was like, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
And then she was like, said something so smart, and I'm just like, did you really have to just say that? Like, and it's just like, come on, like,
yeah.
I asked you something so simple. Like, why the comeback? Why? This is like my only question. Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, you could have saved that, bro. Like, all I'm asking you, go. I think she had on her, they were messing with the water hose. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, for one, turn the water hose off because I'm mad with them from last week because they just turned the water hose on and put it in the sewer and let it run for like 30 minutes. And so I'm like, bro, listen, don't touch it no more. Like, just don't even touch it. Like, don't even touch the water hose no more. So I told him to put that up. So she had a little the bathing suit on or something like that. And I'm like, man, go put some pants on, man. Mm-hmm. And she just said something so just go put.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear nothing else outside of that. And I'm just like, what is girl? 8 years old, man. Like, I can't even imagine when she's 16, bro. Like, oh my God. It's like, bro, the girls. Yeah, bro, it's Eliana. Boy, that joker there is like, shit. Bro, Eliana is something that I've never seen, bro. She's something that I've never, like, boy, when I'm telling you, the test of my patience is that little girl, bro, listen, she on a whole other level. And I be thinking like, dog, this girl only 4 years old, bro.
They say it's tough to deal with people that just like you. You know, when you have your kids extension, you're a character. So like when they go to acting crazy, it's like, man.
Me and my mama say that all the time. Well, she act just like how you used to be. I'm like, ain't no way I was like that.
Yeah, man, we were like that. That's why it's so tough to deal with them sometimes. Because you be like, in your head, you be like, now. But then you think about it, you're like, oh man, like, yeah, I was just like that. So
yeah, man. I think that's, like I said, I think that's probably, you hit it right on the head, man. That patience, man. I think that's one of the hardest things, man. But kids have taught me so much about God, like, and about how, like, the patience of God. Like, it's like, man, I talk so much about my kids and what they do, but it's like, am I any better? You know?
Hit the hammer in the head. When you talk about patience, like, especially when you bring God, you bring faith into it. Like, when you look at it from that angle too, and that's why I said patience is my hardest thing. And like I look at it a lot too. Like I didn't realize that like how big of a thing patience was, because I think I look at my daughter, you know, so I look at my wife too. And like they do things, and my patience be so short. Mm-hmm. And I think about God, like when I do something, I ain't supposed to be doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like God has forever patience with me. Like He wants to give me patience. So like patience is one of the things that I pray about the most, to be honest, is like having patience, because I want to be forgiving, I want to be loving, and I want to have better understanding of my wife and my child, you know, just like God has for us. Like we be so quick to anger, you know what I'm saying? He tells us to be slow to anger. All right. So just working on that, man. Shout out to that.
That's real. And on that same scripture, man, when it said be slow to anger and quick to listen, quick to hear, and it's like, bro, that's really the patience. Like,
it is.
If you can just learn to hear, I ain't good with it whatsoever. But in the times when I have been good, it's come from like, okay, my wife might say something that might upset me. Now, when I quick to listen, I just hear her out and get that understanding. It's like, well, I see what you're saying. Like, yeah. But it's like when you don't even listen, you ain't trying to hear that. That's when you so quick to anger, because it's like you ain't got any type of understanding. Even with the kids, it's like sitting Azriel down, like, why'd you do that? Why you say that? You know, just sitting down and getting the understanding. Don't mean that you're gonna agree a lot of times, because you still might not agree, but you ain't gotta agree to understand. You know, sometimes you can sit down with someone and like get an understanding, and then say, okay, now that I understand, do I agree with this or do I disagree?
It's the situation of, you know, understanding is a big thing with you, man. It's hard to explain, but you watch scriptures come true in everyday life. Yeah, like you watch scriptures come true in everyday life. So in that particular scripture, how you said, like, it's sometimes, and this, I'm gonna speak for like a lot of men, like sometimes, bro, like we gotta slow down and we gotta listen. Like a lot of us want to talk, a lot of us want to be alpha males, a lot of us want to be big dogs, a lot of us want to be the head male. But you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta sit down and you gotta listen to what people. I'm not saying you gotta listen and follow what people are saying, but sometimes just listen and try to get an understanding of where people are coming from, especially when you have kids. A lot of the times, like as adults, and I think this is kind of tough for me to talk about because I have a baby still. But like, I felt when I was younger, I felt like my parents didn't listen to me. Like I felt like, you know what I'm saying? It was just like do, but they ain't listen. You know what I'm saying? And I think that caused a lot of problems because like you're not getting that opportunity, or you're not letting your child have that opportunity to develop into their own person. Like
that's real.
Or to even give you a better understanding of why that action happened. You know what I'm saying? Although you may not agree with it, like bro said, like you gotta give them the opportunity to even explain like what they were going through, because then at the end of the time, it might be something, a reflection of yourself. Like it might be something that you caused, and then your child tells you, hey, and you just like, oh man, like baby, I didn't know you felt that way. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just coming down on them all the time. And I feel like, having a dad, like that's just something that you understand over time. Like I grew up in a military household, so there wasn't no talking. Like what was said was said. Yeah. It wasn't no feelings at all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But that affected me as a grown man. Like I came up with no feelings, and like I said in the previous question, like now that I have a daughter, like man, my emotions are crazy. But I was raised by a male with no emotions, so like it was hard for me to play off of mine.
Yeah, no, that's real. Yeah. That's so real, and that's like I said, it's something that I'm every day trying to work on. I ain't even close to mastered that or gotten. I would say I think I got a little better, but it's like it ain't something that we grew up really knowing. Like it's just, man, like when you go into marriage, then you have children. Sometimes, I know for me, that was my first time having to be patient with someone. That's my first time ever having to be, long suffering and understanding. Yeah. This is my first time ever having to really do those things. Because before marriage and kids and all that stuff, it's like, if I didn't do that stuff, I ain't have to see the results of it like that. Yeah. Now it's like, I got somebody that I live in a home with, a wife, that if we ain't doing that stuff, my life and her life gonna be hard. Yeah. If I have these children in my home, if we don't do those things, we gonna see that stuff come up in our children, and our life is gonna be hard. So it's like, man, it's like now you will see the fruit of not doing those things nowadays. Like when we were kids, we would see it. A lot of people that got into certain things, but like right now, we want to be married. We want to keep our marriages. Yeah. We want to be there for our children. So it's like it's only beneficial that we learn to listen. We learn to be understanding. We learn to be patient. Those are things that are foundational when it comes to fatherhood and marriage, man. And it ain't no shortcuts on that. Yeah. Like I say, I've been had an understanding of this stuff. Yeah. But I still I ain't got there yet. And I'm just every day just trying to just get better, man. It's so hard, bro. So hard, man.
Yeah. I got the jump. I feel like I got a little bit of advantage, like looking at two people being married. Like just watching my mother and my father. I'm gonna say father. Watching my mother and my father interact with each other. It's just crazy, man. Like it gave me the fight to want to be a married man. Like I always wanted to desire to have the same relationship my parents had. Like when I see my mom and my dad together, I'm like, man, one day I want to have that. Like that's what I want right there. Like I want to have something just like that. I think that shaped a lot of what I have going on in life now. You know what I'm saying? Like I aspire to want to be a married man at some point, you know what I'm saying, I just wasn't trying to choose anybody.
Yeah.
But, you know, coming from that, I wanted that same thing. You know what I mean?
Straight up. How has marriage been this far? How long y'all been married?
We'll be 6 years. We'll be married 6 years in October.
See, y'all coming up on 6 years, man. How's marriage been, man? Like the whole dynamic of marriage. That's a big thing right
It's
there.
been tough.
Yeah.
It's been tough, but it's been lovely. It's different. And I'm gonna break it down like this. When you find someone who genuinely cares about you, not just about like materialistic things, but someone who cares about you as a person, somebody who puts into you like you put into them, it's a beautiful thing, man. Like it's a beautiful thing. And me and my wife talk about this, a little off topic, but me and my wife talk about this sometimes. Like a lot of us, I'm just gonna be real, a lot of us as men will meet great women. And we'll meet women, man, that are wives, like that are straight up wives that we should marry. And we'll look past that because we want to be, you know, we want to kick it with the homies. We want to be in the streets. We want to be this and that. And then, you know, we'll look at other people and we'll ask the question, man, how did Cat find a girl like that? But meantime, like, man, you came across
right in front of
100 girls that were just like that, but you just, you know what I'm saying, you were being stubborn in your own way and you just missed out on the opportunity. And I heard somebody tell me that a lot of times, like, your wife is right in front of your face. Like, a lot of us have missed out on it. Like, your wife is right in front of your face. The person you meant to be with is right there in front of your face. But you gotta be in a predicament to be willing to, you know what I'm saying, let that person love you or let that person be a part of your life. But back on topic, marriage has been it's been tough, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I love the challenge. I love the challenge. I love my wife. But overall, I've enjoyed it, to be honest. 100% I've enjoyed it. But it is tough at times. It's not, you know, when you date somebody, you dating a girl or whatever, y'all get into an argument, you just bounce and leave and come back, you know what I'm saying? But when you married, where you gonna go? You can't just bounce and leave and just, you know what I'm saying, come back and, you know what I mean? Like, so the situation gets a little different, but I love it. Like, if you know what I'm saying, I have to do it all over again, I do the same thing. I'll be the same person.
Straight up. Man, guy I listened to named Trip Lee. Trip Lee said in a song one time, he said, "It ain't love if you ain't love it. It ain't, if it don't hurt, then you ain't loving. If it don't hurt, then you loving wrong."
Yep.
And it's like, I remember he said that. And then I started looking at scripture. And I looked at the relationship, like, the word tell us as husbands love your wives as Christ loved the church, seeing that he died for her. And I'm like, that's a hard thing. That's a hard saying. Like, that's a hard thing, you know, like, if you look at it, you know, you look at the Bible, it give wives so-and-so with your husband. They got like a little sentence, maybe 2 sentences. Bro, when it came to husbands, when Paul was talking, bro, we got a whole paragraph. Yeah. And I'm just like, and the things he was saying in there, bro, and I'm just like, dang, dog. Like, if you look at the relationship that Christ had with the church, bro, it was a hurtful one on his side. And for him being the husband, you know, he's the husband, the church is the wife, the bride. From his sense, it was a hurtful relationship because he loved the church. Yeah. So he loved his wife, but his wife was always going out on him. And I'm like, but it say, but you still got to love your wife and die for her. Yeah. You know, like he died for the church. So I'm like, dang, that means marriage ain't meant to be this, you know how people make it like this fairy tale. Like, marriage ain't that. That's not marriage.
It's not real.
That's what we see on TV.
It's not real.
And I think marriage is meant to build us up. Marriage builds character. How do you build character? You go through things.
Marriage is like a boxing match that'll have no endings.
Oh
like,
my God.
It's a lifetime full of rounds. You might win a round, she might win a round, but like, you know, it builds you up, you know what I'm saying? The more punches you take, you know what I'm saying, the stronger you become. So like, that's how marriage is. You gotta work up. You can't, a lot of people just get married and they think like, okay, we married, everything's gonna be good. No. Like, the toughest, a lot of people say the first year you married is really the toughest one. And a lot of cats be like, oh, I don't want to get married because it don't really mean anything. It's just a piece of paper. Like, nah, it's more than a piece of paper. It's a lifelong investment. Like, it's crazy.
Straight up.
And like, when you were talking about Trick Lee, it made me laugh because like I remember the moment set in stone I knew I wanted to get married. I was listening to a Christian rapper named Bizzle. Yeah. And he got a song called Make Her the Missus.
Yeah. That's that heat.
And I was listening to it. And I listened to it like 10 times in a row. And I was like, man, like,
yeah.
Oh man, like it was just hitting me because it was just like when he was saying like he know he love her, but he treat her like he don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like just playing off of that, like just being in a situation where you keep playing around, that woman gonna go find somebody who gonna love her and give her what she's looking for. You know what I'm saying? And you gonna miss out on that good thing.
Straight up.
So like, man, I had to listen to that. Like I said, about 10, 15 times in a row, playing back to back to back to back. So then I had crazy. My brother hit me up and he was like, "Yo, bro, come scoop me up, meet me over here." So I ended up meeting up with my brother, man, and we were looking. I think we were looking. We were in a jewelry store or something like that, man. And I'm at a case, and I'm staring at wedding rings. I don't even know I'm looking at them. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting there staring at them. And I hear my brother say, "Dang, bro, like, what you got going on, boy? You been over there for 20 minutes staring at the ring." You know? I was just like, "What?"
Yeah.
Like, what? And my brother like, "Man, you ready?" I was just like, "Man, what you talking about?" He said, "Nah, bro, like, you ready, bro? You might as well go ahead and do that." You know what I'm saying? That day, I walked out with a wedding ring.
All right. No, that's real, bro.
Yeah.
That's so real. And it's like, a lot of times you don't know. Like, well, I ain't gonna say you don't know. You will know. Wait, I gotta plug this thing. But it's crazy because it's like when you with that one and you know she the one, bro. It's like you said, they be right in front of your face. It's like, you know, you feeling that. Do that. Like, because it's like it's so worth it. Like, it's worth it to. I know for me, I took pride in saying, you know what, like, we wasn't in the best situations in life, you know, but I'm like, I feel like this woman deserves somebody to take her in and love her and give her that security. She deserves to have, you know, that love. She deserves to be cared for. She deserves that. And I'll never forget, bro. It's just, I just told myself like that right there, like she deserved it. Like, she really deserves for me to do, like, just kind of try to be that, like, okay, yeah, I ain't the most perfect man in the world, but it's like, man, let me just at least try to be that.
Bet. That's a bet, man. And it's like, for most dudes that was like me, like, I wasn't really like you know what I'm saying? I wasn't really like that guy that was getting all the girls and nothing like that. Like, I ain't never been, you know what I'm saying? Like, some dudes got it. I'm letting y'all know right now, man. I wouldn't him. Like, I can't just walk into a room and women are just like, "What's up?" Like, nah. So, like, you know what I'm saying? The fact that I had somebody that was on me like that, you know what I'm saying? It was just crazy. Like I said, I ain't never had no girl being to me 100% like that. Like, so meeting somebody who just cared for me more than they cared for themselves, was crazy, man. And that was a move that I knew that you know what I'm saying. First, I prayed for it. You know what I'm saying. I did pray for it, and it was right. Like, it was just the right. There was a right move, and it was by far in life my best move.
All right. Shout out to them babies, man. Yeah, man. Hey, we get to talking about love and relationships, man. Y'all know anything about me, y'all know I go all day on that right there.
Yeah.
But shout out to the wives out there, man. Shout out to the good women, man. You know, one thing about us, man, we need us a strong woman, man. You know, we need that. And it feels so good to have a woman that's all in, even in your failures, you know, even when you ain't the best person in the world, you know, like just having that person that love you for just being you, you know, and that's, I think, the beauty of marriage, you know, to have someone that, it's like, I think people, when they think of marriage, they think it's perfect thing, but it's like every time I talk with guys, I always tell them, you ain't looking for the perfect person, bro.
Nah,
like, that's not what you're looking for.
My dad, I mean, not just my dad, but I learned a long time ago. That girl you got in your head, that image you got in your head, 9 out of 10, your wife ain't gonna look nothing like that.
Nothing like that.
So you chasing a blank image, like
straight up.
That's crazy.
It's a dream almost, and it's like, I think that's what a lot of men are looking for. And then when you do find those dream type women, a lot of times, if you see, most of those women don't be married. And that's just facts. I mean, if you look at Jennifer Lopez.
It's a dud.
Beautiful, bro.
Yeah.
Like, beautiful. But how many times she done been married?
Facts.
It's like, you would think that someone would get with a woman that beautiful and like cherish that.
Yeah.
You would think that. Yeah. But a lot of times if you look at women like that,
it's because you're looking at women outwardly. So like the outward beauty is what's attracting you. Yeah. The inward, the inside is just terrible. Like,
yeah,
it's terrible. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. And like, don't get me wrong. Like, I think my wife is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? And I'll put her up against anybody out there. You know what I'm saying? But like, a lot of the times, like, you gotta dig deep within you too. Yeah. And like, just like bro said, like, women, like, you know, you need your hard women, and you need to, she gonna be there for you. But as a man and as a father, you gotta be that same thing. Like, you gotta be willing to give yourself and be open. You gotta be an open book. You gotta be able to be read. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just be a book on the shelf. That cover looks amazing, but like, don't nobody wanna open you up and read you. You gotta be able to be open and be read.
And if the pages ain't got nothing on them, guess what?
You gonna get put back on the shelf. That's what happened. A lot of y'all, shout out. That's the reason why your relationships don't work. Your pages are empty. You gotta put something on your pages. Straight up, man. You gotta put something on them pages, man.
That's real, man. That's real, man. So shout out to all the full books out there.
Yeah, straight up.
You can read that thing from cover to cover, man.
Yeah, straight up. Don't just put enough on the back of the cover and give your whole story away. You know what I'm saying? Leave something to be read or desired. You know.
That's real. That's so real, man. Man, I ran across this thing here. We coming up near the end. But I just had to ask you about this just because I seen something today before I came in. I was like, Knight, this is something. How would you feel, man, if, like, what would your reaction be if Kaylani proposed to a man? Dropped down on her knee and proposed to a man.
It ain't happening. Not happening. Nah, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a hard question. Cause like, I love my baby girl, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I feel like if she had to get on her knee and propose to a man, then I feel like he don't have enough respect for her. So it's a no for me.
Yeah. It's so crazy because I've been seeing it so much in the last few years. And I'm like, dang, it's like really starting to be a thing.
Like, listen out here for the women. You gotta get on your knee and propose to him. It's a no.
He don't want you, sis.
It's a no.
Trust me.
Yeah.
Listen, if a man wants you, he gonna do it. If a man really wants you, he gonna do what he need to do.
Cause it is embarrassing. It is hard. It's wrecking. Like, for us to, you know what I'm saying, want to get down on one knee and propose, but my whole philosophy behind it, a million men did it for me, and you know what I'm saying, like, you know, I'm getting down on one knee. If it takes me to get down on one knee and give you a circle of trust, or what I call a ring, a circle of trust. You know what I'm saying? To build that life with you and to build, you know, that forever with you. Because I told myself once I got married, that was it. Like there ain't no other option. That's it. One time, one and done. So if it takes me getting on that one knee and making that happen, and you know what I'm saying, how easy it is for me to just drop on one knee and just, you know what I'm saying, ask for a lifetime of happiness, straight up. Like, straight up.
That's real, man. And I think that's so important for us as men, for our sons and other people's sons to be able to see manhood. You know, I think they're trying so hard in this society. I don't know what it is about American society. It's weird. Yeah. But they're trying so hard to kill manhood, to really destroy manliness, you know, a man being a man, you know, and they, you know, they want this. I don't know what it is about America. It just seems like they hate men.
As men, we're letting it happen. As men and as examples, we're letting the man role be faded out in the household, and a lot of it is because of the decisions that we make as men. Like, you know, I was hooping at Gainesville Fitness one time. I ain't gonna lie. I'm hooping at Gainesville Fitness one time with some young boys, and you know, I'll never really get in nobody else's business. I let them do their thing, but you know, you when people having conversations, you hear, and I heard these boys talking about it. It was 3 or 4 boys. They were hitting the same chick, and they knew about it, and they had no problem with it. And in my head, I was just like, man, like, what did you do that? Like, what does that happen at? You know what I'm saying? But you know, like that, and a lot of times in society, that's what's happening, man. Like, you ask a young man, hey, you want to get married? And I guarantee you, like, 9 times out of 10, when a young man says no, a lot of the times it's because he comes from a household where there wasn't ever a marriage, or if there was a marriage, it's a broken marriage. So we got to remember that too. Like, you know, us being married too. Us being married as young men is it's like a example for everybody. So when we go out in public, and when you go out with your wife, and you spend time with your wife, man, you're an example to people who have never seen that example before. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, you got people that's gonna stalk your profile because they want to see you fail because they've never seen a positive image of a relationship in their life. So, you know what I'm saying? Don't give people that, man. Like, love your wife, be there for your wife, encourage your wife. As a father, love your kids, be there for your kids, encourage your kids. Because it's gonna be enough people out in the world that's gonna want to see your child fail. That's gonna want to see your marriage fail. There's enough people against you already. Why would you be one more person against your situation? Like, you gotta be that example, and you know, stop being so prideful. You know,
that's real,
and learn how to, you know what I'm saying. Being a father is not just for us. It's for our situation. Like, for your kids, for your loved one. Like, you know what I mean? And before you end, I wanted to say something like, I never strive to like want a baby mama. And I got some homeboys, I have conversation with them. They got situations. I'm not gonna touch base on these situations because it's not my situation.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of cats, they got, you know, baby mama 1, 2, 3, whatever they got going on. And they'll comment on my comment, and they'll be like, man, like, bro, it must be nice, it must be this, it must be that. It's like, bro, like, you guys got the same situation. My situation was, I looked at the woman and I said, you know what, man, I don't want to have no kid with somebody who act like that. You know what I'm saying? Just being real. Like, I looked at the woman first, and it's like, man, I can't do that because, bro, I have a child with you know what I'm saying, in that situation, but that ain't gonna work. Like, I know for a fact right now that's not gonna work. I'm not gonna even put myself in that predicament. And I'm not saying that I'm better than anybody by any means. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying like I looked and like before I just like laid down and made that situation, like I looked and was like, you know what, man, like if this girl was to get if this girl was to get pregnant, man, like is this gonna be somebody I can raise a child with? Is this gonna be somebody I can potentially marry? Is this gonna be somebody I want to be with? And a lot of us, like, you know what I'm saying, we just be thinking with that second head, and then that second head gets you in a situation where your child get taken from you. And all these things, and you gotta remember, bro, like if you a man and you grew up without your father, you know how that felt. So why put your child in that same predicament? Straight up. If that's the one thing I had to say to a lot of men, then that's gonna be it. And like if it hurts your feelings, I'm sorry. Like that's just what it is. Like you grew up without a father, you know how it felt those nights where you want to call to your dad and you couldn't talk to him, or you seen how your mom was hurting, or you seen that situation, man. Like that should be enough right there for you to never put a child in that same predicament. And I don't really care what the excuse is, you know what I'm saying? Because it's what it is. It's an excuse. Like, I can't, it's hard. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't put a child in that predicament. Like, you don't have to. That child, because a child don't ask to be born in a fatherless situation, especially if the father's still alive, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Don't put a child in that situation, man, because then, you know, the same hardships that you grew up in, you know what I'm saying? You placing your child in that same group, man, and that ain't right. It ain't fair. So
that's real.
Straight up.
Hey, listen, that's free game. Hey, like bro said, you don't like it. I mean, that's something that you got to deal with. But I look at that as, like I said, that's free game, man. Like we all have decisions to make. Everyone has a decision to make. You make wrong decisions. You know, you go to the book of Proverbs, you got all types of wisdom in there about that type of stuff, you know. And that's why I still, in this day, when I talk with young men, I tell them, man, keep your thing in your pants, bro. You don't want to be around her laying with nobody that ain't your wife. Boy, that's what, if I regret anything, I regret not having my wife not being my first. And me, man, I regret that. Listen, almost every day.
This is gonna sound crazy, but that's my same regret, because you being young and you not understanding. Let me tell you, man, you young, you haven't experienced life yet. Like I'm still young, bro's still young. We still ain't got the full extent of what life has to happen. But from 20 to almost being 33, man, there's so much I've learned, man, and just who I am as a person, and just like moving forward in life, man. Like I wish that I would have, like, you know what I'm saying, just held out and been, you know what I'm saying, you know, I'm like no one came before my wife, because I feel like that's not being fair to her. Like I you know what I'm saying, like, and this is my philosophy behind that. If when you sleep with somebody else, you know what I'm saying, like your percentage level, it's like your phone battery, like your percentage level is going down, you know what I'm saying? And then when you meet that person, like you're not giving that person all of you, because you've already given yourself to other people. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if that makes sense to people, but like, that's always just something I thought about. Like I can't give you 100% of me if everybody else has had a piece of me. Like I got, you know what I'm saying? If I slept with 100 girls, that's 100 girls that got a piece of me that's walking around. You know what I'm saying? And then
with that, it makes it harder once you get married, because now, like, people feel like, oh well, I'm missing something, but it's like you don't miss anything you ain't never had, bro.
Exactly.
Like I don't miss having a jet, because I ain't never had no jet.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
It's like if I had a jet before and then I lost it, then I can say, dang, bro, man, I remember I had the jet. Yeah. Once you have it, now you can remember. That's the challenge. Now when you get married, now you have things that comes into remembrance. You see certain women that you've probably been with, or someone that looks like someone that you've been with. And that's when the temptations and stuff come. It's like, it makes it so much harder to be faithful, you know, because it's already temptation, period. Yeah. But like, if you ain't never had something, if all I had was this woman that I'm with, that's all I know.
There ain't nothing. There ain't no comparison.
Man,
I know that sounds bad,
crazy.
But like, there ain't no comparisons. If you don't have a comparison, you can't compare it to nothing. You know what I mean?
Up.
And not saying that you out there trying to compare your girl to the other girl, but like, that's what happens. Like you start to make little comparisons. You start to get your mind starts to get uneasy. You start to like reminisce and fall back into those old habits that you never really had to make before. And like it's just crazy. Like it's crazy. Don't put yourself in that predicament. Young men that's listening to this podcast, please don't put yourself in that predicament, because I'm telling you, it's a hard predicament, man. It's something that if you don't have to go through it, don't go through it. So for y'all, just don't go through it at all.
Straight up. Please. If y'all listen to anything else in this whole podcast, please listen to that part right there, man. For all the young men that might hear this right here, please, please, please. Or for dads out there that have sons, and also your daughters, man, you know, explain these types of things to them and help them to understand, you know, this is why we save ourselves for marriage. You know, I wish I could have done it myself, you know, and I know a couple people that have done that, you know, and I got a cousin that did that, you know, and she just got married last year, maybe 2 years ago, and she's what, maybe 24, 22, something in that range, young, man, but she saved herself for marriage, you know, and she just told me it was like the most best thing, you know, to know that she saved herself and she was pure going into marriage. And I'm just like, dang, I wish.
Think about your kids.
Lord, man.
Think about your kids as a father. Think about your kids. Like a lot of fathers, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, shout out to the fathers that, you know what I'm saying, that held it down with that one woman. They still making it work. But you know what I'm saying? To a lot of the fathers, man, especially to a father that got a daughter. I ain't gonna separate the kids, because to a son, it affects the son the same way.
Straight up.
But man, like when you sleep with all these different women and you're a father, man, your kids see that. Like you bringing different women in the picture, your son watching that, your son gonna grow up to think that, boy, he supposed to smash all the women that walk line. Man, that ain't a good example. Or your daughter gonna see that, and she gonna think that she gotta sleep with a bunch of different dudes or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like my mindset is like, I don't want no dude to ever treat my daughter that way, you know what I mean? So I gotta be the first example that I want her to follow. So I gotta love her mom, and I gotta show her that love for her mom. That way she knows and she demands that from me. Like when she gets to that point, it's a far ways away. But when she gets to that point in life, you know what I'm saying, she's gonna demand respect from a man, because that's all she's gonna watch her father do for her mother. So, and I'm not better than anybody, man. I'm just like y'all cats out there. So,
just speaking from experience.
Yeah, just, you know what I mean. Teach your kids. Be a great example for your kids. Don't put your same kids in the same mistakes that you had to, you know what I'm saying, put yourself in, or that you were put in. You know, as fathers, we're supposed to create a better world for our children, and that's what we gotta do. You know?
Straight up. Man, I'm gonna just end it like this, man. I just want to say I appreciate you, bro. Like for real, you know. If y'all always hear me talking about, you know, times when the time when I had to separate from my wife and two of my children, man. I'll say this, man. This man opened up his doors to me and my wife and my kids, man. At one point, you know, they opened their doors. And it was so much, you know, I always just used to think, you know, they ain't got no children, you know, and I know how hard it is to not have children and have someone. It's hard to open up your door to anyone, period, you know, but when you accept other children in your home, man, I know it can be such a strain. And I had little babies, like, Eliana wasn't even one at the time. And Uriah, you know, they basically only 10 months apart. I don't even think he wasn't even 2. You know, little babies, man. But man, this man opened up his door to me and my wife, my family, you know, and it's like I always feel, you know, like appreciative of that, you know, because it was other people that could have opened up their doors, you know, but didn't at the moment and at that time. But when I asked my brother, man, and you know, and it took so much out of me, you know, because I was like, dang, you know, and that was our first time really having to put down my pride as a man and just be like, dang, I got really got to ask for help. And man, bro and my sis like really opened up their doors to us, man, and gave us shelter for some months, man, and it was a blessing, real blessing, man. And, man, like I always say, man, like I'm a preacher too, bro. Like that was real, bro. Like real talk, dog. Like that's what you call love, man. And they ain't have to do that. That was something they were not obligated to do that, you know, and they opened up their doors. So man, like I just want to say, you know, I told you before, but I gotta say this publicly on this podcast, bro.
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all, bro. You know, for doing that for the family.
It's bigger than us. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, being prideful, and like to me, it wasn't like, you know what I'm saying? Like even if I wasn't married to your sister, if I was by myself, you know what I'm saying, I still would have opened the door because you're good people. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's bigger than us. It's bigger than man. It's always been bigger than me. And I know you're trying to end the podcast, but I'm just gonna say it. My mindset has always been bigger than myself. Like man, I don't know how many times I've been hurt or I've been put down, or you know, cats have clowned me or made fun of me or did whatever in life. But man, my heart has always been for the people. So like, I've always been willing to help. I've always been willing to love. Like when people ain't getting love somewhere else, you know what I'm saying? We in school and like, yo, come sit at the table with us, bro. Like you can sit at the lunch table with us, you know what I'm saying? In college, people like, man, we ain't got a bro, come to our house. So I was like, come take a shower at our house. We'll come kick it out of our house. Because it's bigger than us. And you don't never know what God is going to present, what kind of situation he's going to put you through. You know what I'm saying? Because the same thing that other people are going through might be the same thing that you go through one day. Mm-hmm. So how do you want people to take that? You want somebody to take you in, or you want somebody to kick you out? Like, put yourself in other people's predicament. Like, well, how would you want people to treat you? And being a good example in life, like, we're supposed to do good deeds, and not good deeds just to affect ourselves, but do good deeds because you're supposed to do a good deed. So, man, like, it wasn't nothing for us to like do that, bro. You family, and like you said, we were family before we were actual family. So, man, you got to be an example, and don't be an example because you expect something out of it. You being a good example, be a good person because you're supposed to be a good person. That's the life you're supposed to live. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just gotta do good things, man. Life gives you what you put into it. Life is about, you get out of life exactly what you put into life. You know what I'm saying? And if you plant a seed and you don't water it, bro, that seed ain't gonna grow. So if you want a good life, you want a positive life, you want a positive perspective, you want a wife, you want a wife that loves and cherishes you, you want children, you want to raise your kids, you want your kids to grow up good, man. It all starts from the seed. You gotta plant that seed and you gotta water it, and you gotta, you know, water it with love. You gotta take care of it, and you know what I'm saying, what you put into it, what you gonna get out of it. So, you know what I mean? I guess that's how I'm gonna leave off. Put into life what you want to get out of it. You know what I mean? And not just because you're being selfish, but because you want other people to, you know, have the same opportunities and examples that you have. You know, so for me, I love everybody. There ain't a person I hate. You know what I'm saying? And everybody who listen out here, man, like, bro got my social media, he got my Instagram, you know, he got my phone number. Like, if anybody just want to chop it up, or you just going through a hard time, you need somebody to talk to, or you just, you know what I'm saying, you just need something different, bro. Like, I'm open. So I just want to say I love everybody. I got much love for everybody, and man, I want to see everybody succeed. I want to see everybody, you know, have something in life. I'm one of those people. I want to, when somebody get a new house or a new car, or their baby's born, man, I want to shake their hand. I want to give them a hug. I want to, you know what I'm saying, congratulate them, because I want everybody to experience the finer things in life, and I want everybody to have a good life. So,
straight up,
that's me, man. Peace out.
That's real. That's so real, man. So yeah, y'all, man, y'all already know, man. Y'all hit me up. Y'all know how to contact me, man. Dad, can we talk across all platforms? Y'all continue to stay tuned to the podcast, man. We continuing to build, man. It's a day by day thing. You know, we just trying to keep it pushing. Got a lot of things that's going coming up, man. Got some other good fathers, man, that's gonna be blessing the podcast. You know, I know it's a lot of guys that been asking me, man, I want to come on. Y'all listen. Y'all gotta be patient with your boy, man. I only do one a week, and I'm talking about right now. I'm booked up almost to August right now, and trying to fit in breaks for myself because I be needing mental health breaks for myself. You know, so yeah, y'all continue to bear with me, man. I got a lot of guys, man, that, man, y'all don't understand. The list is like, it's a lot of people, you know, but I'm trying to get to all of them, man. I want to hear all of these guys' stories. You know, if I could do this full time, listen, man, I would be doing 3 to 4 interviews a week, and I got enough guys to do that. But yeah, like I could book for the rest of this year if I do once a week for the rest. That's how many guys I got right now waiting. But yeah, man, this is just another great dad, man, another great husband out here in the community, man, you know. And this is why I do what I do, because I want for y'all to hear stories like Patrick's story, you know, because so many great men out here, so many great dads, and we just don't give people the platforms. You know, a lot of times we focus so much on the celebrity dads or whatever the case may be, basketball dads, and focus on moms, and we sleep on dads. You know, we sleep on the everyday dad that work 9 to 5. You know, we sleep on those dads, but these are dads that are putting in work, man, every day, focused and trying to keep up with himself. You know, trying not to lose the faith and lose himself. You know, guys that's really out here putting in real work, man. So I salute you, bro, and I salute every other dad out there, man. You know, we continuing to push, man. So y'all know what we do at Dad Can We Talk. Y'all, like I say, go subscribe to the podcast wherever you get podcasts at. If you want to stream and listen to the podcast, you can always go to the website at dadcanwetalk.com. Everything is streaming on there. I got an event that I'll be hosting next month. It'll be it's gonna be called Down to Earth. It's gonna be a conversation between men and women, because we're trying to bridge the gap, you know, between men and women. We always have all these differences with one another, especially black men and black women. You know, I don't know what it is about this divide that we have, but we're trying to break that cycle, and we're trying to bring some unity within our community. So that's what we'll be doing June 26th from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the Bay in Gainesville. So y'all stay tuned. I'm still trying to get everything worked out, but that's the gist of it for right now. But y'all will see me posting on the book sometime, hopefully next week, about it to keep y'all posted. And it'll be a free event, man. So yeah, man, listen, this right here has been good. This has been episode 51, and we gonna end it right there, man. Peace, spell, bro. I love you, my brother. Stay up. Dad Can We Talk. Out.